An Oklahoma City University Consumer Confidence poll shows the roller coaster ride continues. And joining me this morning, Steve Agee from the Minders School of Business. And you guys put on this poll, correct?
Right.
And tell me about the poll, how you put this together.
We conduct this poll periodically throughout each year. We started this back in 2007. It covers 16 states in Middle America, all the way from Texas and Louisiana up north, just west of the Mississippi, but up to Minnesota, Wisconsin, Wyoming, Montana, all the way through Middle America.
So this was no small little local poll here.
No.
This is far-reaching.
There were 700 respondents to our survey.
Let's talk about family finances. As far as consumer confidence goes, where does the family stand right now? Well,
right now there's a little bit of a blip down from our last poll. Our last poll was in April, so it looked like things were improving. Since the contraction started, we started going down in terms of confidence. But just recently, in the last 6 months ago, we started to see an improvement. But in our latest poll, just done last week, we saw another turn down.
Do you think that has anything to do with the upcoming elections?
Well,
people kind of sitting back, waiting, and saying, hey, let's hang on to the money till we find out what directions we're headed.
There's clearly uncertainty. There's uncertainty with respect to tax issues. There is uncertainty with respect to health care issues. So I think a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines. I know that banks are carrying a lot of excess reserves right now, so there is cash on the sidelines waiting to see what happens.
And I'm sure small business as well.
Absolutely. Small business, probably more than any other entity, they're waiting to see what's going to happen, whether or not the Bush tax cuts are going to be extended, what's going to happen with respect to health care, how much that's going to cost them. They're waiting to hire new employees to see if demand comes back.
And we're looking at a graph right now for business conditions for the next year. And what does this tell us?
Well, if you look at the red bars here, if you look from left to right, we started back in May of 2007. And if you look from left to right, that's how time progresses. So look at the red bars first. You see back in May of 2007, the red bar is greater than the blue bar, meaning everyone expected, or the expectations by the majority of our respondents was positive for business conditions in the following year. But as we go forward into the contraction, that was completely changed. So those blue bars, as they increase, that means people think we're going to have more bad times. Now, that's changed back just recently. In the last year, we've seen conditions or expectations will improve, but in our last poll last week, it turned down again.
What about predictions over the next 5 years?
Well, that's another issue that seems to be repetitive. Again, things were beginning to improve in late last year and early this year, and again this last week they turned down.
How many people are fearing still losing their homes right now? We were just doing a story yesterday where these banks that had put a moratorium on it are going back to foreclosure.
And that is a problem. Here in the mid-America, we didn't have much of a problem back before the contraction. You see in this graph that 82% back in October of 2007 weren't concerned at all about losing their home, and a very small percentage had some concern. But in the latest poll, that's ticked up. There's a lot more concern about potential job losses, right, and thus meeting your mortgage can be difficult.
Yeah, and people would think, well gosh, this is interest rates have never been lower. This would be a great time to buy a house, except for the fact that people are, like you said, worried about losing their jobs.
But it is the case that there is the thinking that if you want to buy a home, now's a good time because interest rates are low. And of course, last year we had this tax incentive, the $8,000 tax credit, sure, if you buy a new home. Always
a good barometer, I think, for how people are feeling in America is the holiday season. How much money do they spend? If they draw back the purse strings during, say, Thanksgiving and the Christmas holidays, something's up.
Absolutely. Retailers depend on Christmas holiday sales, and the last slide we have to show here today indicates that there's some negativity with respect to holiday shopping. Now, I say that, but on this particular graph, you need to look at the bars to the left. Okay, today there's about 56% of those thinking they'll spend less than last year, and 8% think they spend more. Now, if we compare that to the last 2 years, actually we're not as bad off as we were last year. So there looks like there might be marginal improvement going into this year's holiday shopping center compared to last year.
Okay, well, we can only keep our fingers crossed that things will start to turn around because, you know, obviously you know this from being in business school and running a business school that, you know, it's all up here. When people change their minds, it changes the economy.
There's a lot of psychology, and I hope after these midterm elections some of the uncertainty will be reduced and then we can move forward.
All right, Steve Agee, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate you coming in this morning.
My pleasure.